Hey, Anton Anderson here. So we get a lot of questions about networking events and whether or not people should attend them, and those that are there any tips that we have? So if it's in your personality, you enjoy getting out and meeting people in person, sure, networking events can be a great idea. I wanted to touch on a couple things, food for thought for those of you that are exploring or want to explore networking events. The first one I would say is when you go to a networking event, do not sell. I mean, this is probably the most unattractive aspect of a professional, is going to a networking event and right away being approached by somebody and getting that energy of a salesperson that's just trying to sell a product or trying to sell themselves or trying to sell a concept. Do not sell. It is a very unattractive energy. The other thing is, make sure you're prepared to not go on some long dialogue about what you do. And definitely don't also, when somebody asks what you do, just use your title and then assume that they will know what that is, or assume that they'll think you're any different from the other people that also use that title. So as an example, if I'm at a networking event, I'm not saying I'm a financial advisor, I'm an insurance agent. What I am going to say is what I actually do in a very short and concise way that hopefully leads to more questions. I help blank, so then you'd fill that in. I help blank by blank. An example would be, who is your niche? Who do you serve? If you don't already know who your niche is, then that's really important to think about. Who do you help? And then how do you help them, right? By blank. So for me, with a focus on business owners, I'm going to say I help small business owners by reducing their taxes and unnecessary business risks. Good example and unique, right? I help small business owners by reducing their taxes and business expenses. So again, use this as a template. I help blank by blank. And then have that really firm in your mind. So when somebody asks what you do, you come out with that and then they follow up with more questions. Interesting, tell me more about what that means. Now they're asking you, or they're giving you the permission to tell them more about what you do. Next, always ask questions. Make sure you're the one with you when you do a pie chart of who's talking the most. You want to have the small piece of that pie. You want to make sure that everybody else who you're meeting is talking the majority of the time, because you want to direct that conversation by asking questions. You need to be really specific on where you're spending your time and who you're talking with, and the only way you can do that is by asking questions and getting answers. Then, after you're asking questions, if you determine it's a relationship where there's maybe a potential win-win, you want to start by bringing that relationship value. What do I mean by that? Let's say I'm speaking with Jane or Joe Smith. They're a business banker. How can I bring a business banker value? In my head, I'm automatically going to be thinking about, they're a business banker. Do they know a business attorney? Do they know a business broker? And so I'm very quickly going to go, interesting, you're a business banker. Do you know Patrick Smith over at ABC Bank? He's a great commercial banker. You don't? Interesting. Let me get your information and I'll shoot you an email to introduce the two of you, because given what I just know from our brief conversation, I think you'd really enjoy meeting them. So just automatically looking for ways to genuinely bring them value. Now, why are we going to networking events if we're not selling, we're asking questions, we're doing the small amount of talking, and we're focused on bringing other people value without any expectation that they're going to return that value? Why? Because it's the right thing to do, and the right thing to do is always the right thing to do. So first and foremost, we're bringing value, and it's the right thing to do. The other human characteristic of somebody who you're interested in building a relationship with is somebody who's going to be cognizant of the fact that you're bringing them value, and subconsciously the law of reciprocity is going to kick in. If you're not familiar with that, it's very well known in psychology that when somebody does something for you, you naturally want to do something back for them. So if you're asking a lot of questions and you're looking for ways to bring value, eventually they are going to turn around and want to know, well, tell me a little bit more about what you do. And if you just introduce them to a business banker and they're a business attorney, right away they're going to be thinking, huh, is there anybody that I know that could bring this person value? Now, in our model, we bring a lot of focus and training around working with business owners and working with strategic relationships like CPAs. So that's a great opportunity for a business attorney to bring you value by introducing you to either business clients or CPAs or other strategic relationships. The last thing I want to touch on is direct versus indirect. See, a lot of people make the mistake when they go to networking events that they're going there for direct relationships. What that means is potential clients. If you show up and you're looking for people that you can potentially work with, I think that's backwards. I think you might have your priorities actually reversed. What you want to do is not focus on working with people directly. What you want to do is focus on indirect relationships, meaning other strategic alliances that can bring you clients. A direct relationship would be, I'm looking here for business owners that I can potentially work with. Indirect would be, I'm looking for CPAs, I'm looking for attorneys, I'm looking for business bankers, I'm looking for payroll specialists, I'm looking for mortgage brokers. I'm looking for people that I can find out about their business, bring them value, and then that professional relationship can now result in a lot of actual clients. The thinking here is if you go to a networking event and you get 1 or 2 direct clients, well, you got 1 or 2 direct clients. If you go to a networking event and you meet a great strategic partner and you really cherish that relationship, you bring them value, you ask questions, that can be dozens and dozens of clients. So again, focus on not selling, have a really clear value proposition by explaining what you do, not who you are. Ask a lot of questions, look for ways to bring value, and then again, focus on the indirect relationships rather than being there and trying to sell direct to a client. Hope that was helpful. If you want to discuss this in further detail, just go ahead, schedule a strategy session with us below, and we look forward to talking with you more.